Venti has to be one of the most OP character in Genshin Impact due to his skills and abilities making you deal one of the most insane elemental reaction, and the question is, how are you going to deal max damage with Venti? My name is Aiden and Venti damage build guide starts right now. Venti was the first character in the limited banner and now he's coming next week as a rerun. Being Anemo and having Ascension as energy recharge, Venti will enable all of your party members to continuously spam the burst, making him very OP. Venti's E skill does really burst the Anemo damage, and as you hold the skill, the damage will be much higher and also allows characters to fly up in the air, making plunge damage much possible. Not to mention how this skill is so useful, especially when you're trying to get things while you're roaming around the world. Venti's Q casts Anemo Tornado, where small enemies will be sucked up, and while the enemies are inside this function, they will be dealt continuous Anemo damage over time. During the duration, you can change to other characters and deal massive elemental reaction damage, as Venti shows all of us that his swirl cap ability is actually compatible with other elemental reactions. As you use Venti, what you will realize is that all of your characters will be able to spam their abilities as well due to how much energy regen is capable when using Venti's skills, making your team just cruise past Genshin Impact without any difficulty. Hey, what's up? For the Venti showcase, my Venti's at level 80. For the talent level 2 on the normal and charge attacks, 6 on the E, 8 on the Q skill. Constellation, absolutely 0 constellation. For the weapon, I'm gonna be using Anemo's bow for this build showcase. For the artifacts, I'm gonna be showcasing Viridescent set 4-piece, 2-piece Gladiator with 2-piece Viridescent, 2-piece Noblesse with 2-piece Viridescent, and finally 2-piece Wonders Troop with 2-piece Viridescent, showing you what can be possible with elemental mastery. Now, I have 13 of these saved up, and I'm thinking of maxing out Venti. Once I get to Wednesday and I'm able to farm these ballots, which is gonna be like 3-4 days from now, from today, I'm gonna have level 90 max damage Venti showcase build guide video so you can see what's possible with Venti Genshin Impact, and that video is gonna come up. Make sure to tune in for that. And the damage numbers that you're gonna see in this video is not gonna be as insane, or it's not gonna be high. I'm just gonna show you guys the numbers in this video starting right now. Let's quickly go over my artifact sets for Viridescent. The feather, I have attack percent, crit damage, crit rate on it. For the flower, I'm gonna use this piece here, HP with attack percent, crit damage on it. For the hourglass, attack percent, like super trash hourglass actually, with attack percent. A Nemo damage cup or goblet with crit rate, attack percent on it. Crit damage with crit rate and attack percent circlet. For the attributes, crit rate at 22%, crit damage at 150%. Really bad right here. I need to work on the artifact set for my Viridescent set. Now attack is sitting at 2629. And I'm gonna showcase the damage number on the Dance of Steel 5. And because Venti allows extremely fast energy recharge possible for the whole team, I'm just gonna use Bennett and Venti, and that's it. Q-Tail's in here for the extra 25% attack. Bean's in here to get energy recharge for Venti. So pretty much I'm just gonna use Bennett and Venti this whole time, okay? Let me quickly show you the damage number for the E skill.
Here we go! Wouldn't gliding be faster? Here we go!
So 18,486 damage.
Here we go!
You just get energy recharge real quick. There we go.
Stand back! Time for takeoff.
So the damage number you see here, 3,795. Now look at the swirl damage, right? Now going over the number for the Viridescent set here, because this piece is so trash, not gonna have high numbers. And now with this set though, the recommended set for Venti is always gonna be the 4-piece Viridescent. The reason is because the 4-piece set is gonna increase swirl damage by 60% and it's gonna decrease elemental resistance, infusing the swirl by 40%. So what's gonna happen is with Venti, because he does energy recharge so quickly, as you spam the Q and all of your other characters spam Q and abilities, what's gonna be infused in this swirl is gonna be decreased by 40%, and the swirl damage is going to be increased by 60%. So overall damage is going to be increased when you use your ultimate with Venti. And now you saw the number at 3,795 damage or something like that, which is pretty low. The reason is because this sands right here is just so trash. And now is it recommended to increase swirl damage. You're not gonna see insane swirl damage. Swirl damage is not gonna be high. It's not gonna compare anywhere near Vaporize and Melt, but because it's so consistent and because his burst does continuous Anemo damage continuously, the swirl is just gonna be proccing every second, just doing massive numbers. So swirl damage increase is gonna be essential with the 4-piece Viridescent set, and that's why the 4-piece set with the Viridescent is going to be key in all Venti builds. Now it's time for 2-piece Gladiator and 2-piece Viridescent. For the feather here, attack with crit damage on it. I'm gonna use the flower here with HP, crit damage and crit rate on it. The hourglass with attack percent, crit damage and crit rate on it. Same Anemo damage cup, same crit damage circlet. Crit rate at 29.5%, crit damage at 185.2%. Now I'm not gonna get the 4-piece bonus with the swirl damage and the decreased element refused inside the swirl, but I'm just gonna show you the numbers with these 2 cases. Now let me show you the E damage real quick.
Here we go.
19,000 damage. Now
Everybody
use the Bennett
think you can get away?
and the Q damage, 4,173 damage. The swirl damage is quite lower than the Viridescent set. Now I'm gonna use Noblesse with 2-piece Viridescent for the feather attack with crit damage and crit rate on it. For the flower HP with crit damage and crit rate and a little bit of elemental mastery on it. Same hourglass with crit damage, crit rate. Same cup. And the same helm. Crit rate at 34.2%, crit damage at 172.0%, 42 elemental mastery. Attack at 2,353. Let's see the E damage real quick. 17,000 damage.
Over here. Off we go.
Energy recharge.
Time for takeoff.
4,277 damage. And the swirl damage is pretty low. Now I'm gonna test numbers for elemental mastery. For the feather here, attack with crit damage and crit rate. Flower, elemental mastery with crit damage and crit rate on it. For the hourglass, I'm gonna use elemental mastery with crit damage and crit rate. Same cup and the same helm. 285 elemental mastery with 112% swirl damage. Now, this is gonna be swirl damage testing. The number you're gonna see with the Anemo damage is not gonna be as high. And I'm gonna test this. I'm gonna test this set here, along with 4-piece Viridescent set with elemental mastery on. Now let's just look at the swirl damage,
We
guys.
go. Adventure time.
2 and
Think you
results.
can get away?
So 1,093 swirl damage, right? Now I'm gonna show you the swirl damage for 4-piece Viridescent set with the Sans being elemental mastery.
Going in. Time for takeoff.
So 1,400. I say 1,556. Now I'm gonna change my team with Fischl, Bennett, Mona, and Venti, and I'm gonna show you guys what is possible with all these elements infused in the swirl.
Going in. Time for takeoff. Oz, reveal thyself. Written in the stars. Shadow Raven, let night fall. Let's play.
And you guys can see the energy recharge is so
Everybody
quick.
stand back. Time for takeoff.
I'm just recasting it.
Fate is upon you.
And this is like an ongoing thing where all your team is just gonna have the energy recharge back after Venti uses the Q. Now let's go over the best set option for Venti here. The Viridescent 4-piece is going to be that set. Now what you want to be doing is you want to decrease the element of choice by 40%. This is just gonna help all of your team just do more damage to the enemies and gonna increase swirl damage to 60%. This is gonna be enough increase of the swirl damage. I feel like you don't really necessarily need to go elemental mastery with the sands. What I recommend is actually going for attack percent sands, and you're actually going to be doing more E damage, and your Anemo damage with the Q is going to be much higher. So go for attack percent sands with 4-piece Viridescent set. That's gonna be number 1 choice. You can also go Elemental Mastery with the sands though if you feel like you want to do more swirl damage. Now the most damage dealt with the E skill and the Q skill with the Anemo damage was the 2-piece Gladiator with 2-piece Viridescent set. The only reason is because the artifact rolls with the crit damage allowed me to deal the most damage, and increased attack percent is just gonna increase more damage with the E. Would I recommend going for this set specifically? You can, but 4-piece Viridescent set is gonna be recommendation because you want to reduce elemental resistance infused inside the swirl to the enemies. That's what you want to do for your team. With Venti, that's gonna be actually the best option. Now, if you don't have the 4-piece Viridescent set right now, you can opt in for 2-piece Gladiator and 2-piece Viridescent. And for the weapon choices, the stringness is actually going to be really good. You guys saw that Elemental Mastery is actually going to be not as good as Melt and Vaporize, but it is still going to increase roll damage. And this weapon is going to straight up increase Elemental Skill and Elemental Burst damage by 48%. So this is actually a pretty good 4-star option for Venti. I did use the Anemo's bow, and this increases attack percent here. And obviously I'm not using Venti for normal and charge attack, so I'm not really using this, but I'm strictly using this weapon for base attack and attack percent. The other option you can go is Black Cliff with crit damage, and also the Viridescent Hunt is actually a good option. If you have this weapon, you can use this on Venti and he's gonna benefit a lot from this weapon as well. And for the absolute free to play prototype with the attack percent, it can be viable. But a lot of you guys are probably going to opt in for Fabini's Warbow or the Sacrificial Bow, mainly because of the energy recharge. Note that Venti does come with energy recharge as he ascends, and I feel like that's actually enough for him to get his burst back much quicker. But if you absolutely just want to just stack energy recharge, you can go for the Fabini's or the Sacrificial. Now, as the 1.4 come out, we're going to have a new 5-star bow that's gonna come out in the banner, and we're gonna get a 4-star weapon, and that's gonna allow you to max refine it, as I heard. It might be wrong, but that's what I heard. And so you can actually opt in for the new weapons that's coming out, especially the free to play 4-star weapon.